Good rising, good rising. Welcome to the Indigo room. Today we're discussing the grudge, forgiveness, and forgetting. I'm your host, Sydney Chase, and this is where we discuss all things spiritual. And by that, I mean that we're non-physical. Mute myself. That we are non-physical spiritual beings having physical human experiences. Life is supposed to be good, supposed to be fun, supposed to be delicious, even when it's wicky wackalicious. Wicky wacky wacky wicky. Hi, Linda. Good rising. So today's topic is the grudge. Y'all, me, some of us, have to work through that. So we're going to tickle our amygdala. I'm going to give you some sage, Palo Santo wood. Oh, I love this stuff. I love the way it smells. I love what it does. Because you can see I got some energy today. I've been saging my black behind for a few weeks. I get out the shower, I got to sage. Because, sometimes you're in environments and sometimes your own thoughts, make you wicky wacky. So, I use that to clear the energy and clear my mind, clear the space, clear my mind, clear my life, clear the dog. I just clearing. I want to set my house on fire. Hi, Barb. Good rising. Hello, my beautiful Barb. I quickly saw that you had a massive headache. Was that you? I hope you're feeling better. I scroll through Facebook now. I can't stop. I do drive-bys. And then I see stuff and I'm going, I do want to send love and light and healing energies, all of us, to our friend Juliet Egan. She's in Australia. She listens to us on the, later on. She doesn't listen to us live. But okay, good. I'm glad you're okay. Because I saw something about headaches and brain tumors and stuff. I was like, what? See, this is what happens when you do drive-bys on social media. You never get the story right. So that's why you got to ask questions. But I want to send some healing energies to our friend, the Indigo Room's friend, Juliet Egan. She is in Australia. She's having some health challenges. So we're sending love and healing energies out to her, just like we did to Sharon last week. Oh, TBI. Maybe that's it. Maybe. But again, I was doing a drive-by, so, it can't be sure. I can't be sure. So we're going to tickle our amygdala. I did not forget. We're going to tickle our amygdala. And again, today's topic of the show is the grudge. Not the movie. What you got going on? Some of you have issues with other people and you're holding grudges. I've held grudges. I ain't gonna lie. Okay? Sometimes you hold a grudge against your own self. So we're going to talk about that today. How to let go of it. How to move past it. How to move through it. We're going to bring Linda out in a little bit after we tickle our amygdala. Because Linda sent a great question about last week's episode. So I want to read that to you all. And I've been working with my guides. I've had them for a long time. There's 11 of them. A new one showed up recently. And they came through, answered Linda's question. They might answer your question today. Anyway, so we're going to tickle our amygdala. That's what we're getting ready to do right now. And what is your amygdala? Your amygdala is right here. It's your frontal lobe. Right here. This is what lights up. It's like where your third eye is, your frontal lobe. And I'm sorry, your amygdala is above your earlobe. Sorry. It lights up your frontal lobe and your third eye, which is right here. So your amygdala is on either side of your temple. It's like a little almond. And when it's click closed, you're in fight and flight or fight and flight mode. When it's clicked open, Your frontal lobe lights up. Your third eye opens up for a short period of time, and you feel good. You feel delicious. You feel love, joy, peace. You know everything lights up for you. Answers show up for you. So if you're not tickling your amygdala, you may want to try that. And it also helps you with your imagination. It flexes the imagination muscle. So imagine that you have a feather in your hand. And we got this little technique from Neil Slade, who has a wonderful website. I'm going to try to get him on the show. We've been talking about it for a year now. I still haven't done that, but I'm going to work on that. So imagine that you have a feather in your hand. You can close your eyes. If you're driving a car and you're listening, don't do that. Riding a bike, walking, sit down somewhere, stop. It's only going to take a minute. Imagine that you have the feather in your hand. You decide what your feather is. You decide what color it is, the length, the width, the breadth of it, and just feel the bristles. Imagine that you're feeling that. Imagine what it feels like, what it looks like, what the texture feels like. Okay? Get that really, really good in your imagination. And then lift up the feather, slide it in to the center of your forehead, and then move it over. Imagine that you're moving the feather over inside your head and tickle your amygdala on the right, and then slide it over and tickle your amygdala on the left. Pull your feather out. You should be smiling. Don't walk around with the feather sticking out of your head all day. I mean, I guess you could, but you might bump into things. So next week, just a reminder, next week, hopefully, all goes well, we'll be discussing colors and their frequencies. Mm-hmm. So today, what we're doing is we're discussing the grudge. The grudge and forgiveness and forgettingness. But Linda is going to come out, and she sent, hi, Linda.
Hi, everybody.
Say hi to Linda. Look, she's got her face showing this week. Woo-hoo. Beautiful Linda. I'm so happy to see you. Can you all hear Linda?
Hello, hello.
Barb said, on my cell today, I can't seem to give a like. She said, oh, I found the way to do thumbs up. Yay. Yes. So if you are new to the Indigo Room, this is where we discuss all things spiritual. And to me, everything is spiritual. Just saying. And Linda has been with the Indigo Room for many years. When we had our podcast over there on Talk Show, we still upload, but we're not live there anymore. We're live here. Oh, good. You can hear and see Linda, Funky00 said. Linda, hi, Funky. Welcome. Good. You can hear Linda. So Linda shared a question last week about last week's show. She emailed it to me. And she asked me to clarify something. And, it didn't even dawn on me that it needed clarification. But Linda, thank you so much for the question.
You're welcome.
She said, I'm going to read the question. And maybe you all had this question too, but y'all didn't send me an email. Just saying. Linda did it for you. Okay? She said, I sat with this for several days and I'm writing to ask for clarification. My understanding of what you were saying about the window portal closing, and if you hadn't decided how you wanted to make changes, improve, vision board, etc., your year, the window to do that was closed. And that you would have to wait until September 2020 to make changes. If I extrapolate that, then that would seem to negate Neville's imagination tools and a lot of other tools that we have discussed and used to make changes in our daily lives. I'm pretty sure that was not your intent. So maybe if I was puzzled by your statement, others might be as well. And perhaps you could clarify, elaborate on Sunday. Yes, I can. And that wasn't necessarily it was sort of, kind of, but not really, but yeah. So as I was riding the bus yesterday, coming home from a job, because I still have the job, okay? I still work at the job that, it's very, very, very strenuous. I read her message and she sent me a text, and then I looked at, the email. And as I looked at the email, I said, oh my goodness, there may be others who will have the same question. And then all of a sudden, well, not really all of a sudden, I've been working with my guides, again, more frequently than I used to. And that has been one of my intentions for this year, 2020, is to listen, to hear what they have to say. This is what I was encouraging you all to do. Speak to your higher self, speak to your guides. I've been talking to mine. And I used to talk to them a lot. And then, I started feeling like I was nuts. And I used to do readings for people, and I got shook. I was like, okay, I'm either crazy or I'm just, right on point. And I shut it down. And so now, well, not now, but, over the past year, I've been listening to them and really paying attention and really working with them. There are 11 of them. They call themselves 11-1. And, well, they used to, because now we got a new one. So there's 12. There's 12 in me, right? So as I was reading Linda's question, my third eye started throbbing. And I can't even explain how that feels. It's just a throbbing that you get. It doesn't hurt. And that is a signal to me that they want to talk. Usually when I get that, there's a download happening or they want to share something. So I was on the bus and I was like, well, I can't, I'm not going to remember what you said. So don't send me anything right now. Don't send me nothing. I got home, I walked Miss Cleopatra, and they were showing up, and they were eager. They were like, listen, we have an answer for you. And as I was telling Linda this morning, that the message that came through, oh, look, who's else? Jackie's in the house. Hi, Jack. And Mia. Good rising, everybody. Hi. Look, Linda. See that? She said, you're gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
I've been trying to tell her that for the longest time. Linda always wants to hide behind the screen. Today, she's out front and center. Yay! So, anyway, I could barely say Cleopatra's name because they came through and, my eyes dilated and, it was all interesting. I could tell somebody, now this was the most powerful they've come through in a long time. And I could tell somebody was looking through my eyes, through my eyeballs. It wasn't me. It was me and them, Anyway, so the answer that we received yesterday from the group, I don't know what they want to be called. They all have specific names. But the message that we received, I'm going to read to you what I sent to Linda. So if you're confused about what I said about the shift in the portal, just take a listen. And then we'll get into the discussion about forgiveness. And they're here too right now. The shift has happened. The portal has been open for a very long time. This particular portal got closed. But the shift of the planet, the literal shift of the planet, has caused a major change for all of you. What you want to be, do, and have in this new system will require better tools, more evolved tools. What the Neville shared cannot be negated. It is being transformed to a better system than you had before now. Things that you used before will be enhanced, so to speak. It is not of tools, but of the shifting, the transformation. What the Neville gave to you was the tip of the iceberg. In some things, he was correct. And in the knowledge that he shared, there was not the movement you are experiencing now. The shift the portal that was opened did close, so to speak. It is like catching a train or not catching the train. Simple. You can bring your baggage tools with you, but you can bring your baggage tools, but you probably will find that you no longer need them. The tools you speak of are becoming obsolete. You no longer need them. This is an exciting time. We know the Sydney does not like that word. I was like, oh, y'all got jokes. We are very happy to see you see your progress in this new system that was waiting for you all of this time. The Neville spoke more of this than anything as he moved closer to that portal. That's talking about when he was, talking about the law and the promise and all that. It is not an ending. It is a beginning of new things, new experiences at a new level of knowing and being. We are clapping and singing joyous sounds of light and love for you who can assist with the transformation. Talking about all of you. The Neville gave you all a head start, but now the new things we have to share will blow your minds. Okay? So that was the response to Linda's question. And if you had that same question, I hope that helped you. Because the portal does open again for a brief time, that particular one, in 2020 in September. And then once it closes, it closes. Now, it's like they said, it's like catching it. From what I got out of that, it's like catching a train or not catching a train. You can still use those tools, but some of them, I don't even know if some of you have had this experience, but sometimes the tools that you used to use are no longer working. I don't know if you've had that experience, Linda.
I've had more
With
of
the Reiki. Yeah.
with the Reiki, it's more of a shift, and it was like Reiki sessions would, you have a sense of when they're done, and they would be, when I was working with animals, it's very obvious. A 40-minute session would, literally shrink down to 15 minutes. That's all that was needed. But that was over a period of time. I noticed it went from 40 to 30, to 20, then to about 15 minutes, and that was pretty much it. And also, I shifted from, there's a lot about Reiki to get you into a particular mindset to offer the energy. And I had slowly been dropping those things because it wasn't necessary for me anymore.
Mm.
And then finally it was like, well, I use the word Reiki because most people understand a little bit about that, or chi. It's really energy healing, and a more general energy healing. And that's shifted as well. And so it's been a transition more than oh, this tool doesn't work anymore. Well, I take that back. And this is way back when I was going to college. Um, uh, it was what they call you postulate what you want to have happen. So I wrote, and you write it down. So I wrote down I wanted, a job that had better hours because I had to be there at 5 o'clock in the morning, and still went to college to work. And I wanted a job that had more regular hours and that worked with my um, my class schedule, and that paid X number of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And I put it out, and then, I figured it would take a while, maybe a month or two. And so anyway, then 5 days later, a girlfriend who I'd taken a course with, who I hadn't seen since the course ended, like 2 years before, showed up. And then that was how I got a job working with her boss. but I don't I don't write that stuff down much anymore. It isn't necessary for me. I mean, I jot down a few things, but now it's like rather than writing it, I have a mental picture of what it would be like. More again, the feelings and stuff.
Right. Right.
Or I do a vision board where I have a picture I can look at. Because uh, for me, words don't describe it near as much as a picture or, well, yeah, some kind of a picture, either in your head or that you've found that comes close to what you're talking about or
Mm-hmm.
what you want.
Yeah. So the tools are not necessarily, not that they don't work, but they don't work
They're
like they used to.
right.
In that,
And
in
they're
that,
evolving. Right.
yeah, yeah.
And you realize, oh, I don't have to do it anymore. I can just, you know, like before it was like, okay, I'm envisioning, when I'm doing the healing, I'm envisioning, you know, uh, my feet going down into the roots of Gaia. And then I'm opening up my crown chakra and allowing the energy to come. I'm envisioning the energy coming down in through my head and into my body. And then I would, rub my hands and then, kind of go like this to feel the energy. And then I, hold it out. I did a lot of remote work too. Um, and, I would do that. And I just don't need to do the setup for that anymore.
Right.
It's like, okay, I'm thinking it and I go right into it.
So basically, what was told to me and what was shared was your um, it's not so much that you know are going to be standing in your imagination and and doing this imagination work in a certain kind of way. You have to understand that Neville also, as much as we love Neville, I love Neville. I love Neville. I love Neville. But the work that he was sharing also was coming off of the Bible, and we are moving and shifting and changing into a new paradigm. We've changed. Not even we are moving and shifting. We've already moved. We've already moved and shifted. And as we move more forward, you will find that that work and the work that you're getting ready to do now, all of you that are listening, the work that you're getting ready to do now, it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a lot different. Your tools are going to be different. The shift is bringing in new tools. The energies that come is bringing in new things, bringing in new ideas, new stuff, new stuff. So get ready for it. I don't know what it's going to be. Don't ask me what it is. I don't know, but it's coming, and it's probably already here. Anyway, Barb said, I became a Reiki master, but I so much realized that it's just living, being sent or allowed to flow. So I get that, Linda. Words or pics, whatever gets you in the feeling at the time. There's a lot of physical movements like that help yoga, tai chi, etc. Right. So if you just think about yoga, tai chi, reiki, all of these things came through to us in a time frame that it came through to us, and new stuff is now getting ready to come through who knows, through maybe some of you all, but it's getting ready to come through new modalities, new different tools that we can use. Yes, your imagination is powerful still, okay? But right now, the veil is so thin. It's so thin. Linda even says it's not there, but the veil is so thin that you can just literally almost think a thing now. You're in the 4D, you transition, you come through the portal, you chose light. You can think a thing and stuff starts to pop. You're not working so hard. So if that makes sense.
Or I mean, again, the phone examples. You think of somebody and the phone rings 5 minutes later.
Right.
Or now when I think about somebody and it's persistent, then it's like, oh, I think I need to call that person. And oh, I'm so glad you called,
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yep.
or you get a
Okay.
weird,
So
anyway, you get a
yeah,
strange message
get a lot of messages.
on Instagram, or whatever from somebody you haven't heard from in a long time. And then it's like, oh, okay, this was the right time.
Right. Right. So things are shifting and growing. Yes, mere exciting times. Even though they said that Sydney doesn't like that word, I thought that was hilarious. And then they had the nerve to chuckle through me. I was like, well, I'm not even laughing. Okay. So it was quite interesting. Thank you, Linda, for that question and for being the catalyst to bring them more forward to the forefront. They're here now chuckling. I hear them. Anyway, we are discussing forgiveness today and holding a grudge. The grudge. How many of us have held grudges? Okay, wait. I'm gonna raise my hand. I have. I ain't gonna lie. I've held. I've held several grudges, or several. Yes. I'm gonna raise the roof right now. I have held several grudges in my lifetime. Sometimes at the same time, multiple grudges. You know, at the same time for people. So I'm just gonna. Oh, only Barb has held a grudge. So it's only me, you, and Barb has held a grudge. Everybody else is evolved. I love that. That's wonderful. So what I want to ask is, how did that feel holding that grudge? How did it feel for you, Linda?
Uh, I
Barb
did a
said
lot of,
multi-grudging.
I did a lot of multi grudging. I did a lot of like the the grudge changed depending on what I thought about the person. Something would come up. It was like she said, multiple grudging on one person.
Hmm.
And now, when I read this morning before we went live, it was like, oh, I'm not holding a grudge for that person anymore. It's like, cool.
Amira says it's a lot of work to hold on to. It is. It really is. You are holding yourself hostage as well as the other person when you're holding a grudge. I didn't know that way back in the day. Okay, just saying. I would listen. You do something to me or my kids or my family. I could hold a grudge for a long time, and I would not forget it. So when you are holding a grudge, you're holding yourself hostage and the other person hostage. But mostly, you are holding yourself. We talked about revenge. It's if we look up the word forgiveness, what the word actually means. If you look up the word forgiveness means, hold on a second, where is it? I know I wrote it down here. The stop feeling angry or resentful towards someone for an offense, a flaw, or a mistake. Okay? Now, sometimes someone has done something to you that really is egregious. I mean, they have maybe killed your family, or they have injured your body in some way. Maybe they stabbed you, maybe they shot you, maybe they were violent towards you, maybe they knocked you upside your head. Maybe they really, really, really abused you as a child. Now, those things can be hard to forgive, and you can hold a grudge for that. And nobody would fault you for that. Mental abuse, and you are in the right, as far as I'm concerned, for feeling the way you're feeling. Everybody feels the way they feel, and you are in the right for feeling that way. I would never say that you're wrong for feeling that way. However, there is a way for you not to agree with what they did to you. That's not what forgiveness is, in my opinion. It's not what they did to you that you're saying that you're okay with. What you want to do is find a way to release them from your attention, from your mind, from your thoughts. And when you do that, you may not forget the actual what happened to you or what they did to you, but you will be released. You will be free. That is when people say forgiveness is for you. It is for you to cut that tether that you have attached still to you from that person and what they did. So sometimes you can't forget. Some people say, I'll never forget. I forgive you, but I'll never forget. That forgetting takes work. However, that's not impossible either. In this new paradigm that we're in this new shift that we're in, it's not impossible to forget. It is sometimes difficult to forget the injury. It's not impossible. And the other side of the coin is holding yourself hostage for something that you did. How many of you have done that? I'm going to raise my hand. I'm usually the one. I beat myself up way too much. I've learned not to do it as often, but I can be unforgiving to myself. Oh my God, why did I do that? Why did I say that? Why? Now, in these new times, in this new life that I've lived since 2009 when I started, 2007 when I started this show, and a little bit before that, I've learned to forgive myself. That is not as easy sometimes as forgiving somebody else because, they're outside of you. They're not with you all the time. They're not in your mind all the time. And, if your brother took your Cheerios this morning and that was the last of the Cheerios, you can learn to forgive that. But the difficulty is a lot of times is learning to forgive yourself for some of the bad, egregious things that you may have done to others or said to others. And the thing is, it's our ego that doesn't want to forgive. I'm in the right, and you very well may be in the right. And I'm never gonna forgive them. And that is your choice. You don't have to. However, if you do work on forgiveness, it releases you. There was a study, not a study, but an article done by the Mayo Clinic, and it talks about how releasing someone else and letting go of the offense and removing your attention from the behavior and the person that did the behavior, taking your attention away from that, not focusing on it anymore, because it's always in the back of your mind. If you haven't forgiven, it's always there. Everything is colored through that in your life. And how unforgiveness and grudge holding literally makes you ill physically. It really does. Stops your money, stops your health, mental. It affects you mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. Unforgiveness. Does anybody want to join me and Linda on the show today? Hold on. Funke said, no grudges here. Ever? Well, that's great. That's wonderful that you never had any grudges. I love it. And Amira says, my face looks all distorted. Why? When you hold a grudge, you mean? I remember feeling like that. We're evolving, fortunately. Absolutely, we are evolving. Barb says, I'm much better now at dealing by confronting an issue either to the person directly or by redirecting thoughts like you're saying. Yes, forgetting is hard, but dwelling there serves no purpose. Exactly. I am mostly working these days on forgiving myself for thinking something bad about someone because it's easy to pick on myself for every thought that is not in alignment. It's absolutely true. Oh, Funke said she's fibbing. See, if I can't hear you, I don't know. I'm going to put the link in the chat if you want to join Linda and I on the call today. You can do that. You don't have to show your face. You can just show your voice. Share your voice with us. One of the things that Neville did teach us about forgiveness and forgetting is learning how to see the person or yourself as you would like them to be. Even someone who slapped you across your face, even someone who stole your dog, even someone who beat you. Because when you do that, and you do that for yourself as well, see yourself as the person you would like to be, or see that person as you would like to see them. That helps to remove the energy. Because what's happening is forgiveness is basically an energy, and you're using a lot of energy to hold on to a grudge. You're using a lot of life force, a lot, to hold on to something that right now is no longer happening. Like, it's not happening today. It happened to you in the past. It happened to you last week, last month, last year, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And you today, in this space that we're in today, are still holding on to that energy. It's like holding on to hot coals all your life, just holding it on. And you walk around looking evil, feeling evil. You have tense. You're tensed up. Your energy's all wicky wacky because you're holding on to these hot coals. Who would do that to themselves? That's what we are doing when we are holding a grudge. I want to share with you, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Hopefully you can see it. Let me know right at the beginning if you can see it. A section from Dr. Joe Dispenza's broadcast. And he's talking about forgiveness and how you can, without even doing all the physical work, right? How you can let go. I use a meditation that works for me, and I just cut tethers. I told Linda about that one. I just slice them, put it in a box, hand it back. This is the gift. I don't want it anymore, and I give it back to the person. But Dr. Joe, I love Dr. Joe, shares something that I want to share with you all, and I'm going to see. Hopefully, you can hear it just as much. As you can hear it. If you can't hear it, then I'll just play it. Outside the video. Outside of this video. So I'm going to share it with you guys. Hold on, let me share my screen. Oops. 1 second. Let me get the screen up. Okay. There we go. Let me know if you can see it, first of all, before I hit play. And the thing is that
it's showing up on YouTube.
Okay. So basically, you really need to actually hear it more than see it. Let me see 1 second. Let me hit play. And let me know if you can hear it. If you can't hear it, then I'll stop it. But just, I'll give it a minute and you'll put a 1 in the chat if you can hear it. If not, then I'll stop and I'll play it outside the video.
It sounds like Donald Duck.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to play it. I'll play it on my other desktop. And we can just listen. We can just listen to Dr. Joe. All right? You don't have to hear, you don't have to see him and hear him at the same time. Let's just play it. Hold on. Hold on. Whoop.
Hardwired circuits. The more profound frozen circuits.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Here we go.
Think about frozen circuits. Frozen circuits are hardwired circuits. The more profound the insult to the person that is connected to a strong emotion, the more the brain freezes circuitry. The more we think about the experience, the more we fire and wire the circuits in our brain. Yes or no? And the more we remember the event, the more we produce the emotions that are associated with it, and we're conditioning the brain and body further into the past. Yes or no? And if you keep doing it enough times, it's no longer conscious that you're holding a grudge. It's no longer conscious that you're stuck. It's now you're seeing everybody through the lens of that experience, and everybody's a betrayer. Everybody can't be trusted. Everybody is that same person. You're overlaying the memory of your experience into reality. You're not seeing it the way it is. You're seeing that person wearing the mask of the last person. That's the lens that we're perceiving reality. Are you with me still? And so then anything in your life that becomes remotely close to it based on your limited perception triggers the emotion in the network, and you're back in your past and you're acting like you were when it happened. Are you with me still? And so then the person says, I'm not that person. And you say, oh, no, I know. I just had this event in my past and I'm sorry. And then it's excusable, but then here it happens again. And there's nothing wrong with this. We all do it. It's just how do we overcome it? So then you're sitting and doing the work, and you're moving energy up those centers. You're releasing the life force into your brain. You are blessing those centers and taking a scoop and moving it all the way up and releasing it all the way up into the field. You're opening the channel. You're unfolding as nobody, no one, no thing, no where, and no time, and the identity and the personality is done. Energy is going to move. It's got to. It's going to follow the path. You're opening your heart. Once it gets to your heart, it's going to make its way all the way up. And when you feel love and compassion, when you feel true kindness and care, it's hard to hold a grudge. Are you with me still? So then from a quantum physics point of view, you have that person always in the back of your mind, right? You have the event and the memory rolling around back there, because the very thing that you don't want to have happen, you're already preparing for emotionally. Are you with me still? So then from a quantum perspective, you are actually as a creator of reality, holding yourself hostage because of that person. And you are holding them hostage because of that experience. And you have an energetic bond that's connecting you to them. And you're sharing the same energy. And so then you're using each other to reaffirm whatever that energetic agreement is. Are you with me still? So then when you forgive someone, it's because there's been a strong change in your emotional state. Because the emotion is what's keeping you energetically bound to them or to more than one person. And so then once you start lowering the volume to that emotion and the body starts liberating energy, and you're calling your energy back to you, because the lower the volume of the emotion, the less you're going to pay attention to that person, there comes a moment where there's a snap, there's a release. The energy is broken. And once it's broken now, all of a sudden, you free yourself and you free them. And this has happened to me in my life. The people show up 10 years later, completely changed and so humble and so asking for forgiveness just because they had transformed, and I let them go. So then forgiveness from a quantum perspective and a neurophysiological perspective is just taking your attention off them. That's all it is. And when you start getting happy with yourself and you start feeling those elevated emotions because you're striving for that, you wouldn't trade this for the grudge you were holding because this feels too good. Are you with me still? Now, once that heart opens up and you start having energy in the center and it's releasing 1,300 to 1,400 different chemicals that begin to restore and regenerate the body start getting a lift of energy. Once it makes its here, now you're going to see that track sending in energy to the brain. The heart acts as an amplifier to boost the brain. Are you with me still? So then once the energy starts making its way into the brain, once the heart starts to open, we've measured this with our students. They have oxytocin levels rise. Once you start feeling oxytocin and you feel more love, then you feel the grudge. So then you think, oh, why would I want to give this up for that person? That's called forgiveness. You don't have to try to do it. It just is a side effect of your personal transformation. And oxytocin then, when it's released, rushes right into the amygdala, the survival center of the brain, and the research is outstanding. And the first thing it does is it fits in the same receptor sites as fear, and it lowers the volume to fear and anxiety. It shuts the lights out for aggression and anger and hostility, and it cools the circuits off for suffering and pain, and the only thing you can feel is a love for life. And that's when you're free. Now, the practice of forgiveness, matter to matter, you can do it, but it takes a long time and a lot of work. And then you forgive, and then you're like, I don't want to forgive him. Halfway forgive. And just never really authentic forgiveness. Do you understand? And you know, there was a woman that came to our work, and she was raped by 4 men when she was a teenager, and it was abusive. And she had severe night terrors, severe anxiety and panic attacks. She had cyclic mood problems. She had been to every single doctor, every single healer, every single alternative practitioner. Nothing changed it. She came to our event in Tacoma, Washington. And she hit that point where she became everybody, everyone, everything, everywhere, every time, every place. She became the oneness. And that frequency had a message for her, and it said, and she was in incredible bliss when this happened. I sent 4 angels disguised as rapists for this moment. And that was the end of her terrors. That was the end of her. She couldn't have a relationship. She could not live with anybody. She was isolated. One moment, the divine stepped in and gave her the signal. That was carrying a very specific message. And she got the download, not just the thought, she got the energy move right through her body, and she saw the whole thing. And that moment is what she was waiting for. That's what the soul was waiting for. Now she's healed, she's healthy, she's happy, and she's on with a new life. She's born again. My mother would love it. She's born again in the same life, reborn in the same life. Didn't pass through a birth canal for it. She just was born again in the same life. She got a new lease in one instant. That energy was carrying a message, and it made its way all the way into the body. And the bliss and the joy and the gratitude and the love that she felt, and the message that was carried made total sense to her. She's free. One instant. To me, that's true forgiveness. That's the divine having its way with you.
Okay. Sorry. I get all emotional when I hear that. Stop here. Welcome back. So, just to reiterate what forgiveness can do for you, and we're not talking about the other person, we're just talking about you, that it can shift and change so much in your own life, that holding on to a grudge is just, why would you want to hold on to that when you could hold on to love, joy, peace, and happiness? And how do you, move through that? How do you forgive someone who's done something to you so terribly? Well, that's when you reach inside, and that's where, your meditations work. That's where you talk to your higher self. That's where you do the meditation that Linda and I was discussing about slicing and dicing and, getting rid of the tether and the energy that connects you. And when you know, here's how I know that I'm done with something. How I know for real, that I'm done. When I speak about it, when I talk to you about it, it's no longer charged with any negative energy. Like, it doesn't put me in a bad space to talk about it. I can go back and I can talk about it, and it doesn't, it doesn't affect me any longer. Like, I could talk about it like I'm talking about the weather. When you can do that, that's when you know you're done. If you're still talking about the situation, whatever it was that happened to you, with you, by you, with something that you did, and you still feel that negative energy as if it happened yesterday, then you know you've got work to do. And I would say to you to check out Dr. Joe Dispenza, see what he's talking about, find out if that would work for you if you're holding a grudge. If you can't do what he, can't do his course or whatever, go within, ask to be removed, call on the law of forgiveness. The law of forgiveness is an actual law. Something else that I do is I call in sacred flame. What is sacred flame? Do you use sacred flame, Linda?
Not for a long time.
I still use it. And it is something that, same here, the emotional charge is gone. Absolutely. Like, I could talk about it and even some of the stuff and laugh even. And people go, "Oh, I'm so sorry that happened to you." I'm like, no, I want to share this story with you because, maybe it'll help you, but I'm not there anymore. You don't have to feel sorry for me. I'm not there. That ish happened 10 years ago. I'm not there now. I'm here with you. It's good. Don't cry for me, Argentina. Right? So Barb says he's a wise man. I listen to him every day. Oh, you do? That's cool. I like Dr. Joe. We like Dr. Joe here. Just like we like Neville. Except we can't bring Neville on the show. Damn it. We can listen to his podcast. But anyway, the thing is that you are no longer emotionally charged with that. And calling in sacred flame is something that I do on a regular basis, just as like I wash my body every day. I call in sacred flame every day. It's like it is like scrubbing your dishes. Because, I know I have done and said some wicky wacky things today. Mother, Father, God within me. I'm calling on sacred flame tonight as I drift off to sleep to remove all the negative energy, clear me out, remove the negative energy from my mind, from my body, from my spirit. And what is sacred flame? It is a flame. It is a transmuting flame. And you can call it in as you drift off to sleep. You can call it in at any time. It'll show up for you. You can't see it yet. I can see it now more clearly than I used to be able to. I used to never be able to see it. I only could see it in my imagination. But now it does show up even more so. It's alive. It's alive. It's something that was created for us to be able to use to purify and transform certain things. So if I got wicky wacky going on, I call the law of forgiveness. If somebody did something to me, because people still do something to do things to me that I don't particularly like sometimes. That happens. However, it's not as often as you used to. I don't get upset as much as I used to. And I call on sacred flame and the law of forgiveness for myself and for the other person. And that helps. Barb said, I think Neville is listening in. I am sure he is. I am sure Neville is. He's transmuted himself into the portal. I know he's listening at some point. One of the things that Neville did share as well about forgiveness, and I'm going to read that. Where is it? He says, every act of kindness is a death in the divine image for in every act you sacrifice yourself. Making alive what you no longer want to see. Making alive, because that's what we're doing every time we put our attention on something that we don't want to see anymore. We don't want to experience it anymore. I don't want that. But every time you put your attention on something that you don't want, you are resurrecting it. You are bringing it to life every single time. Making alive what you no longer want to see, you die to that. You die to that. So if you would like to not be in that every day, not relive it every day, you have to find other things to start putting your attention on and putting your focus on and putting your energy towards. And that is spirit. That is God, Goddess. That is love, the Lord, forgiveness. Put your attention there. Every single time your thoughts come up, oh my God, that itch, she did that to me, or that, son of a beach nut gum. That's what my mother used to say when she didn't want to curse. I curse like a sailor, on the other hand. But she would say, son of a beach nut gum. I was like, Ma, because she wouldn't say son of a, you know what. But every time you want to put your, and it's, I find it much easier to do now, but some of you may find it very difficult. And it's like turning a rusty wheel, but it is possible. And you can ask for help because there's help for you. You can ask spirit to help you. You can ask sacred flame to help you, because it's not about the other person. And as we just heard Joe Dispenza say, there was a woman who was talking about one of the women who came in and took his course or whatever, and how she was raped by 4 men. And she carried that with her for a long time, years, when she was a teenager. That's a horrific experience. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I don't have any worst enemies, but I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So how often can you do this? As often as you need to, as often as is necessary. Bring your attention, shift your attention towards God. Shift your attention towards spirit. Shift your attention towards light. Shift your attention towards love, love of yourself that you can't forgive right now. Love of yourself that you don't have the energy to forgive right now. Send that energy to yourself instead of sending it towards the persons that injured you or the persons that hurt you. And I guarantee you it won't be long that you are starting to feel that love connection to spirit, to source, to energy, to light, to love. And you won't be thinking about them anymore. And you will cut that tie. Linda?
Yes. I've been listening.
So how many? What'd you say?
No, yes. My last thing, it's like I'm finally to the point where it's like when that person comes to mind, the first thing I do is send them love and light, and then off it goes. I don't bring the past into the present.
Yeah,
But
it's
that
like,
was hard.
yeah, it's very hard. It's not easy. I mean, I won't say it's very hard. I want to stop saying that. It is hard to do for some people. And it was hard for me to do in the beginning. Now it's much easier. Now it's not an issue. But it's like going out to the cemetery and digging up dead bodies and bringing them back with you to live. We wouldn't do that, right? We wouldn't do that physically. I know I wouldn't. So in this now moment, if you can stay in this now moment, it's not difficult to stay in the now moment. There's a lot of touchstones that you can use to stay in the now moment and be in the now moment and stay there. You don't even have to go to the future. Don't go to the past. Don't even try to right now revise the past, because what that would do is just put you back in that state. Right now, stay in the now. Stay in the now state. Stay in the moment. Reach out to source energy. Get your meditation on. Cut the tethers. Cut the ties. Just be done with that whole situation. Be done with it. Next week, we're going to be talking about colors and their frequencies. And I do want to remind you all from last week's show to be mindful of your words. Be mindful of your words and what you're saying to yourself, about your experience here in the planet, on the world, on this world stage that we're on. Tell yourself that how fabulous you are. Make sure you're loving yourself. Make sure you're telling yourself how wonderful you are, how happy you are to be you, because you're a wonderful human being. And make sure you call on sacred flames. So this is our I am. We have 2 I am statements for the week. I am forgiving and forgetting it. I am forgiving and forgetting it. You may not think you can forget it, but you can. It's just not always easy, but it can be done. And if you understood how good you would feel to let go of those hot coals of unforgiveness, you would do that. I am forgiving and forgetting it. So you can write that down, put it in your I am statements book, put it in your I am statements folder, and make sure, you repeat that and roll it around in your mind and your thoughts. We also, I am the all-knowing mind of God. I do know the right solution of this problem, and I solve it now through divine love. That is 2 I am statements for the week. I am the all-knowing. Linda's probably going to make a little video.
Yes.
And then it'll be posted on the indigoroom.org website as well as here on the channel. So I am the all-knowing mind of God. I do know the right solution for this problem, and I solve it now through divine love. I want to thank you all for joining us this week. And if you're looking for coaching, one-on-one coaching is available. It's 30 minutes free. Information is in the description. To subscribe to the channel, click the Indigo Room logo in the right-hand corner. And what did you learn this week? What did you learn these past 3 weeks that we've been together here in the Indigo Room? Put it in the comments below. Let a sister know. Or send me an email at the indigoroom.org. The indigoroom2@gmail.com. But what was your takeaway about forgiveness this week? Are you able to forgive? Put it in the comments below. If that's something that you want to work on, to make a love donation to the Indigo Room, you can cash app us at $Indigo Room or a PayPal link that's also in the description as well. You can visit the Indigo Room to get your mug, your t-shirt that I was wearing last week, the water bottle, all that good stuff. We got a new bag. All cool stuff. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and then Facebook as well, and the links are in the channel banner. So, Linda, what's your takeaway this week?
Mainly the realization that, I'm not holding that grudge anymore from the last batch of situations. It's like, I have gotten to that point where I'm not hanging on to it and bringing it into the present.
Awesome.
And it's helped me with my creativity and stuff too, where things were stuck. And now they're not.
It does help with your creativity.
Yep.
And you let that ish go. Let it go. Barb says another therapeutic hour. Thank you, ladies. Aw, thank you. So remember, you can email us at the indigoroom2@gmail.com if you have a question or there's a topic you'd like for us to discuss on the show. Relationship topic, money. Well, we always talk about money. Sometimes. Well, we haven't talked about money in a while. But whatever you would like, want to talk about how to open up your third eye, talk to your guides. What do you want to hear about this year on the Indigo Room? Send us an email. We'll see if we can get around to it. Amira said, I learned a lot. Thanks. You're welcome, Amira. It's so good to have you here. Join us. And I hope you have fun in Disneyland. Barb says, a good reinforcement for me today on forgiving. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why we get together once a week. Used to be twice a week until I can figure out my schedule. It's still going to be once a week at 1 p.m. Hopefully we'll be twice a week. Thinking about a couple of shows, a couple of things I want to do for you guys. But it's really great to be with you all once a week. It's encouragement. It's a community. It's loving, and it helps us to continue to be the light workers that we are, and to continue to grow and be magnificent beings that we are, and the uniqueness that we are. So I do want to thank you all for being here. Make sure you thumbs up the video. And if you're a new subscriber, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you and we love you. Remember who you are. Remember that you are source energy right here in a physical body. Remember that you can be, do, and have anything that you desire. Remember, it's not being extraordinary that makes you unique. It is your uniqueness that makes you extraordinary. And we will see you next Sunday at 1 p.m. You can click the link, one of the links that'll be here in the video once it's done, to check out the videos from the last couple of weeks of January. We're moving into February. We're going to be discussing African American History Month next month too. Just saying. And I love you all. Have a great week. Linda, don't go away. Bye. Thank you.